In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to use checklists to make sure that your business is idiot-proof and to make sure that all of your processes are done step by step and to close to as 100% as accuracy as possible. In my business, I can almost bring a bum off the street, hand them my checklist, and they'll be able to at least complete majority of my tasks to at least 90% accuracy or almost close to 100. So why would you use checklists in your business? Everyone is human and everyone makes mistakes. As smart as you think you are and as much education as you have, you're gonna make mistakes. People do forget. So you might be thinking, what's the purpose of using checklists? It's a waste of time. Let me give you a real life example of how ICRs or hospitals use checklists to reduce their mortality rate from 47%. In the book, The Checklist Manifesto, they did a specific test on several ICRs located throughout the world on how to decrease the mortality rate in the ICR. They implemented checklists and they were able to reduce mortality rate by up to 47%. A couple of other industries that use checklists to eliminate or reduce mortality rate is the aviation or airplanes. Before they implemented checklists, there's too many steps for the human mind and for you to be relying on your memory because people are gonna forget. In the construction industry, 1 in every 50,000 buildings has faulty due to human error. Why is that? Because they use comprehensive checklists. Same thing in the aviation industry. Now, the aviation and the hospital industry and the construction industry, these industries are extremely complex. These industries have sometimes 100, 200 different step-by-step tasks. Now imagine if you can use checklists into your business that, let's say, only has 10, 20 different tasks. It's gonna ensure that anyone who is using those checklists is able to do the process 100% of the time, every time. So let me give you a couple of examples of how I use checklists within my business. So let's say you have an e-commerce store and you need to build out websites. Instead of you telling your designer every single time you need to go buy a domain from Namecheap, you need to transfer the DNS over to Shopify, you need to install this theme, you need to get all these product images, you're gonna need a step-by-step checklist to hand to your designer to ensure that he's gonna do the task correctly 100% of the time. So how I personally create checklists is I'll go through the process with a Word document, and on every single step, I'm gonna just put it down in a bullet point. Now, once I have the bullet points through the whole process, so let's do the website example, I'm gonna go step 1, buy the domain. Step 2, transfer the DNS to Shopify. Step 3, install the theme. So it's step by step, so my designer knows that if he follows this checklist, he is gonna complete the task to 100% perfection, and it allows me to not micromanage him because whenever one of my employees hands me a checklist, I know that as long as they're following that checklist and not cheating, it's gonna be done to 100% perfection every single time. I get it, guys. I understand that making checklists isn't the funnest thing to do, and it's probably gonna be time consuming. But I can tell you this, that once you start implementing checklists into your system, it's gonna enable you to the ability to scale because you can just hire new employees, hand them the checklist, hand them a basic training, and they'll be able to scale. Versus if you don't have these checklists, you're gonna have to train every single new hire one by one. And you're not gonna be able to ensure that all of these new hires are doing the task to 100% accuracy. So let me give you another example of another checklist that I personally use throughout my marketing campaigns. So we run a lot of Google ads, and I have a step-by-step checklist that my campaign managers and my junior campaign managers are doing optimizations. Every 3 days, this is the checklist. Every week, this is the checklist. And every month, these are the checklists. So I know that if they're completing this checklist, I know that every single one of our accounts, every single one of our campaigns are gonna be optimized to perfection as if I was doing it myself. The whole goal of these checklists is for you to be able to replicate yourself and for you to be able to scale your businesses. Because I understand it's gonna be very difficult for you to find another piece of talent that is equal to you, that is equal to your intellect. But if you're able to anticipate the idiot, create these step-by-step checklists, you don't have to have another rock star like yourself. You can go hire some other guy from onlinejobs.ph or Upwork that you're paying $5, $10 an hour that knows basic knowledge, let's say of campaign optimization or landing page design or basic CRO. You hand him that checklist and he's able to complete the task as if a rock star did it. In conclusion, the importance of using checklists is gonna save you time, money, and one of the most important things that you can learn in business, which is the ability to clone yourself. And it's gonna bring you one step closer to success. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about end-of-day reports and why you should implement them into your company. So we use project management systems to track all of our projects and all of our daily tasks, but the main reason why I personally use end-of-day reports is because it makes my team members and my employees feel like they're held accountable, and it makes life easier for all of my managers to manage the teams that are underneath them. EOD reports are very simple. All of my team members are answering 3 things, including my managers. Number 1, what did you work on today? If it's a marketing campaign, did you set up 5 campaigns? Did you guys build 5 landing pages? Whatever you guys did, what did you work on today? Number 2, did you experience any difficulties and do you need my help? My help meaning me personally, if it's one of my managers, or if it's an employee, my help meaning they need my manager's help. If it's nothing, they just put none. And then number 3, what are they going to be working on tomorrow? So it just gives everyone that extra eye. It helps you manage your team more effectively because it makes everyone feel like they need to be held accountable and like someone's watching. Even if you guys aren't taking a look at these end-of-day reports, the most important thing is that everyone needs to feel like they're held accountable. So many of you have employees that are on different time zones. Me, myself, I live in Puerto Rico and I work with people throughout the US, and I also have a lot of team in Philippines and India. So the end-of-day report, it allows me to understand what they're doing on a daily basis, and it allows for everyone to be on the same page, especially my managers. So all of my managers are CC'd on the end-of-day reports. I'm CC'd on all the end-of-day reports. So let's say I suspect that my designer's not doing his work and he's slacking. I can go search my email or my Slack channel, end-of-day report for the specific date, and see, is he actually doing work? And cross-reference and check to see if everything's getting done. If something's not getting done, I can talk to my managers or I can talk to the employee directly. And if it is, it's all good. So start implementing end-of-day reports into your business, and this helps everyone feel like they're held accountable, and it helps you anticipate the idiot. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you the importance of using over-the-shoulder training to communicate with specificity, and you can even implement these into your checklist to make sure that each point of that checklist, or at least the most important points of that checklist, are done correctly. So for me, whenever I'm explaining something to one of my employees, or let's say someone's located in the Philippines, and I need to make sure that they understand this task, and I don't want to repeat myself because I can't jump on the phone with them because they're sleeping, I'm going to film a Loom video. So for those of you who don't know what Loom is, go to loom.com. It's a very simple screen recording software, and I use it all the time. I probably film at least 10 to 20 Looms every single week just to make sure that everyone who I give tasks to within my organization not only understands it, but they have the ability to go back and replay it. Now, you can also implement these into your checklists. For complex checklists and for new hires, over-the-shoulder training helps out. Let's say you have some design aesthetics or some complex items that you need to put into a checklist. You can insert a link to a screen recording and help better explain exactly what you mean in that point of the checklist. I also use over-the-shoulder training videos to anticipate the idiot. I use them for onboarding to make sure that everyone has a universal onboarding process and to make sure that everyone gets the same message when I'm not able to deliver the message myself. It's all about being able to scale the CEO or the leader and replicate yourself. Over-the-shoulder training allows you to scale and replicate yourself. So many of you might be thinking, why do I need to film these over-the-shoulder training? Obviously, it's much better for you to be training them in person, and if you can jump on a Zoom with them, that's the best case scenario. But for you to use your time effectively, you should be using these over-the-shoulder trainings so you can replicate yourself and lead by example. Whenever you deliver these videos to your team, you always want to ask them for their feedback and ask them, is this clear? If it's not clear, then there's always room for improvement in your business. Whenever you're filming these over-the-shoulder trainings or even with a checklist, you want to put them into practice and get feedback from your team. If they're too complicated, if they're not clear, if they're not as specific as they should be, then you should be redoing the video, you should be sometimes redoing the checklist, and make sure that you're optimizing all of these processes to perfection and to, most importantly, allow you to be able to scale your business and scale yourself. Unless you're able to clone yourself, you're not going to be able to set up your business for the ability for nonstop growth. So if you don't understand these concepts now, pause the video, go back in the section, and make sure that you understand the concepts before you proceed. In the next module, I'm going to teach you how to plan your business for nonstop acceleration. So without further ado, let's jump into the next module.